Welcome to Meet Your Neighbor, the podcast that highlights the people and stories that make Westbrook Village a truly exceptional community. I'm your host, Steve Trethewy, local realtor, neighbor, and proud member of this vibrant community. Each episode, we sit down with residents to learn about their careers, life experiences, and what brought them to Westbrook Village. It's a chance to connect, share, and celebrate the unique journeys that shape our neighborhood. Thanks for tuning in. And now, let's meet your neighbor. Before we jump into today's episode, here's a quick real estate fun fact. Arizona continues to rank among the top states for relocation, with Maricopa County consistently leading the nation in net population growth. More people discovering communities like Westbrook Village is part of what makes this area so special. Now today I'm sitting down with Steve Trethewy, author of the gripping true crime book, Please Don't Shoot Me Again. Steve spent years researching this tragic event, uncovering the details, interviewing those who were connected to the case, and even speaking directly with the deputy responsible for the event. His work brings clarity, context, and compassion to a story that has echoed through the community for decades. In this episode, we talk about what drew Steve to the case, the people he met along the way, the emotional weight of telling someone else's story, and the responsibility that comes with writing about real-life tragedy. Now, let's meet your neighbor. Hello, Steve.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. This is my first interview where I've actually just met you for the first time. So this is really a meet your neighbor for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, I'm originally born in New York in 1950, and it's kind of a funny story. My dad packed 5 kids up, and we headed to California.
Oh, really?
Car broke down in Arizona, and I've been here ever since. So
You're kidding me.
And that was 1956. So.
Oh, wow. So, your parents just decided to say, or you hid?
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a funny story. Actually, the brakes went out on the Salt River Canyon, and a truck driver stopped and crimped off the brakes. We followed him down a hill, and we didn't have, my dad only had 56 cents in his pocket.
Oh, wow.
So we started in South Phoenix, and down in now it's kind of a gang neighborhood.
Okay.
And so we've been here ever since, other than a 4-year stint in the Navy.
Oh, wow. That's that is an interesting story how you made it here.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Phoenix?
It was great. I've always enjoyed it. We moved from South Phoenix to Prescott, and my dad got a job up there, and then we were up there for a little over a year, and then he got a job here. He was an entertainer, a jazz musician.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a business rep for the Musicians Union.
Oh, wow.
And so, the neat thing is, after my dad passed, he had some old contracts, and they were signed by Willie Nelson and the Beach Boys and all these signatures on all these old contracts. And after he died, I just inherited them.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's kind of cool.
So you've got a bunch of contracts with some celebrities and names on them.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I do. Yeah.
What did you get to meet any of the celebrities when you were a kid or anything?
No, the only celebrity I think I ever met was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And
oh, really?
Yeah. After I got out of the Navy, I was working out in the gym, and a buddy of mine was a big guy. I mean, a really big guy. And my brother got me this book for Christmas called Pumping Iron. And I'm going through it, and I see this buddy of mine in there working out with Schwarzenegger.
Really?
And I said, you never told me. He goes, you want to meet him? I said, yeah. I had this old 68 Corvette I bought after I got out of the Navy, and it was a beater. And he said, you want to meet him? We said, yeah. We took off, went over the coast, and went to a place called Gold's Gym, worked out.
Oh, yeah. I know Gold's Gym. And, that's famous.
I went out to Muscle Beach and hung out with the guys.
Wow.
The next year, my buddy was in Mr. America contest, so we went back again and hung out with the guys, and it was just interesting. It was a fun time.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah.
So what? So you were a former police officer?
Yeah.
I mean, we're here to talk about your book, but I want to. Let's lead up to it.
Yeah, I got on DPS in 1975, and
okay.
After I got out of the service, it was like, what am I going to do? Well, okay, I guess maybe it's time to start school. So I met some folks. I took this one class called Criminal Investigations, and it interested me, and I would go to on break with all these cops, and it's like all of them were from DPS, and was taught by a DPS lieutenant. And they said, you ought to put in for it. And it's like, you know what? I think that would be pretty neat. And so I did, and I loved it. But
what is DPS?
DPS, Arizona Department of Public Safety.
Okay.
And it's the state police. They the troopers are the uniform, and that's where we all have to start out.
Okay.
So I did that for a little over 3 years, and then went to the academy as an instructor.
Oh, wow.
Doing officer survival and physical training.
Really?
Yeah, and that was fun, but I was like, that's not what I wanted to do the rest of my life. So I put in for criminal investigations and worked out the rest of my career.
Was that really? When did you know that was what you wanted to do?
You know, it was exciting.
Yeah,
and it was fun putting bad people away.
Sure.
And, you know, I got in most of that time. I worked the gang unit.
Okay.
And then I ended up supervising the gang unit, and we worked street gangs, motorcycle gangs, and prison gangs.
Okay.
And that's what led me into my story eventually.
Yeah.
You know, we worked all over the state.
Sure.
Primarily the Phoenix metro area, and we'd team up with Phoenix PD. Good guys, great time. You know, it was just, you know, I guess part of it was an adrenaline rush.
Sure.
And it was exciting to me. I always thought I wanted to be a stuntman, so the excitement always kind of excited me. Yeah.
Do you, being at your age now, are you glad you weren't a stuntman?
Yeah, because after some broken bones, you know, it's like, no, I don't.
That's a young man's game, and we don't realize when we're young that we're going to get old.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know, and I'm there. So
when you were on the gang, working with the gangs, was it mainly drugs that they were bringing in? And
it was everything. In fact, there are so many crimes involving gangs.
Yeah.
I mean, the intelligence part, or working intel, we called it, it just led into some of the other investigations. In fact, we did a couple wiretaps on a gang here at the time called the Dirty Dozen, which preceded the Hells Angels, and we eventually flipped in and becoming Hells Angels.
Oh, really?
And those cases were intel driven, so it was just gathering information, working snitches and stuff, and we worked wiretaps and undercover things like that.
That had to be fascinating.
It was exciting.
One thing I always thought was that civilians don't realize how sophisticated gangs are. You think of gangs as just a bunch of guys on bikes causing problems, selling drugs, but is there a sophistication to the gangs?
Sure. And especially when you get into like street gangs, not so much. Unless you get into somebody like out of Chicago, like, you know, some of the gangs there are more organized, but
right.
You get like motorcycle gangs, very organized.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They have a hierarchy. They have structure. They pay dues. They go to meetings. It's things that people don't realize.
Yeah, it's almost like a job, right?
Yeah, it is a job. But the gang becomes their number one priority in life. You know, it's not the family. It's not your physical family. It's the club. What the club says, you go.
Yeah, I've seen that. We have a gang in St. Paul. I don't remember what
Sons of Silence, probably. Or the Outlaws.
Outlaws.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen them come into a bar and you don't want to stay in that bar.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, they are. They own the people in their club.
Oh, yeah. It's that patch on their back becomes the priority. That's number one.
Yeah. It is scary. And people that don't understand it, and I always get worried about young people out in going out and having fun, and that fun can get wrecked really fast.
Oh, yeah. It just takes, you bump into them.
Yeah.
You give them the wrong look.
Yeah.
And look out. It's not one-on-one either. It's all-on-one. And that's written in the rules. It's one and all in one.
Okay.
Wow. And they'll rat pack you.
Huh. Have you ever befriended an ex-gang member? Or
oh, yeah. Sure, all the time. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because you would turn them into snitches.
Yeah.
You know, and that helped you in your investigations.
Sure. And would they ever get enlightened and leave the gang?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends. Now, you get into something like a prison gang, it's lifetime commitment.
Right.
It's you know, and it's like blood. It's what they call blood in, blood out. You draw blood to get in.
Okay.
And if you're out, they're going to draw your blood.
Oh, wow. That's some deep stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's fascinating, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that gang mentality, and they don't operate in a vacuum. It's not like street gangs hang out with street gangs and prison gangs hang out with prison gangs.
Right.
The umbrella gets quite big. I mean, let's say you have 1,000 Hells Angels.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb was for every one member, they have 10 associates.
Oh, wow.
And that associate could be, other than a normal citizen, it could be a street gangster, it could be a prison gang member. They all help them within their organization. So, you say you have 1,000 Hells Angels. That 10 times, that's 10,000.
Wow.
That's how big that network is.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're everywhere now.
Oh,
and they're infiltrating more and more people.
Sure.
And yeah, we have a lot of tribal gangs in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
That I didn't know until I moved here, and I looked up Cass Lake. That's where our cabin is, and first thing I came up was the gangs and how they're bringing the drugs in through the
border.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So how long did you do that for?
Excuse me. I started in 1975, and then I went into investigations in 1980.
Okay.
So after I did my year at working at the academy, then I went into investigations, and I've worked a myriad of things. I did auto theft, liquor, general stuff. I was in the narcotics unit for a little while. But it was the gangs that really got me, and it's like this is what I want to do. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, well, let's get to your story.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No. Actually, it was working the gangs that got me into the story, and I did some presentations to law enforcement groups and some of the community college criminal justice classes, and in one snippet I had, when it was mostly motorcycle gang stuff. One snippet I had, one or two slides. It was about a guy named Jack Hudson who thought he was going undercover into a motorcycle gang down in Yuma, and he ended up killing a friend of mine. We weren't close friends, but he was a friend.
Yeah,
and I was his PT instructor in the academy. His name was Mike Crow.
What do you mean by thought he was going undercover?
Well, he only had 2 years on the job.
Okay.
He was a deputy from Yuma County.
Yeah.
And he was fast tracking. He was a smart guy. He had an IQ of 126. And he was an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
He was a Marine for 17 years.
So he was just a blue blood good American boy.
He was number one in his academy class. He was a sharp guy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But what happened was he ended up moving too fast, and he got in with a motorcycle gang down in Yuma called the Border Jumpers.
Yeah.
And so he thought he would start hanging out at the bar down there. It was called 8th Street Tavern. He was hanging out there. It was a biker bar. And he was trying to get close to him, and he did. He got close, and they started feeling comfortable with him. They laid out some meth on the bar one day, and they snorted it down. And then they told Jack Hudson, who was the deputy, who was undercover, he said, "Here, this is yours." And he took it.
Oh, wow.
He said once he took it, he said he couldn't stop. And so he started stealing, he started pinching from other cases. So he would, would they go out on a search warrant or something like that, he would be what they call the finder. So he was responsible for packaging up all that and taking it back to the evidence room.
Well, that's pretty convenient if you have a drug problem.
It was very convenient.
Wow.
And so he was stealing, and not only that, he was stealing money on other cases and stuff. So when they laid the drug and he took it, he concocted this idea. He was going to take down the entire motorcycle gang, and he was going to do it by himself. He didn't have supervisor's approval.
Wow.
He didn't have a backup plan. He didn't have anybody working with him. And he became a loner. And as he started doing more drugs, he had this meth mush brain.
Wow.
And,
well, they kind of show it in the movies, the old cop movies. It's always the loner that goes and solves the case, but it's totally the opposite of the reality, right?
Yes.
Because you can't succeed by yourself in law enforcement.
No, you need your backup. You need to have a plan.
Yeah.
You know,
and you need to have a safety net.
Right. And that's what we did. If we were in a situation like that, you always had something that would signify to your backup crew, your guys to come in and help you out. But he didn't. He became a loner, and the more he started doing dope, the more his appearance started to change. He lost 54 pounds in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Well, it depends on what report you read. Some of them say 47 pounds, some say 54, 53, 54.
Sure.
So he wasn't eating, and he started smelling. And one of the guys that said, who I thought could potentially have been the fourth victim, said his jeans were so greasy, you could probably take them off and stand them up because he never washed them.
Well, did other police officers think he was undercover?
Yeah.
And but he wasn't.
No, what he did is he went to ATF, or Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Federal Agency, puts on an undercover school back east.
Yeah.
And he went to that because he expressed interest in working undercover. So they said, yeah, fine. And that's when he transferred into what they call the Southwest Border Alliance, which was the narcotics task force down in Yuma.
Okay.
And so because he was doing good as a seasoned, or not seasoned, I'm sorry, that's the wrong word, as a uniformed deputy.
Sure.
And he was exceeding in everything. They thought, yeah, okay, we'll give him a chance. He can go to the task force. That's unheard of.
Huh.
You work the road 3, 5 years, whatever, before you ever transferred in.
Right.
There's a guy with 2 years on. He's already working at a multi-agency narcotics task force.
Wow.
So the task force is run by a lieutenant from Yuma PD. And a buddy of mine, Mike Crow, was a sergeant from DPS assigned to it. They had 2 sergeants.
Yeah.
One was from Yuma PD, one was from DPS.
Okay.
And so he worked for Mike.
Yeah.
And Mike was not a seasoned sergeant in investigations. He'd been a road sergeant.
So we got a couple of rookies in this group.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Excuse me, really. So he was, Mike was getting ready to go to what they call investigative school.
Okay.
But he hadn't gone yet. So he was learning the ropes as he was going along until the school came.
Yeah.
So Jack Hudson, who was a deputy, he kind of took advantage of that, I think. And when the squad would work days, he'd work nights. When the squad would work nights, he would work days. He would pull away from
he would.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so, he just kept hanging out at the bar, and then he got invited to the clubhouse one day, and he talks these big talks like, what was a guy named Stoney from the gang, pulled him aside, and he drew his weapon on him. And I mean, he always had a story that was big and bad, but nobody ever knew anything about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, as it progressed, he kept taking meth, more meth. And so one of the evidence custodian was a guy named Jimmy Earhart. Jimmy Earhart was a DPS officer who retired.
Yeah.
And now he's double dipping as a civilian. He was taking care of the evidence room. And Jimmy just found that there was a gun missing in the evidence room. Oh. So he goes to the sergeant and said, hey, there's a gun missing. It works its way up to the lieutenant. The lieutenant said, we're going to meet down and we're going to set up cameras in the squad area and see in the evidence room, see if we catch somebody. Well, lo and behold, they called Mike Crow, who's the other sergeant.
Yeah.
And the evidence custodian lieutenant, they're going to meet down there. And they said, we're going to call another guy named Larry Wheeler. Wheeler was another DPS retiree. He was working for Customs as an analyst, and he was sitting across the street in another building about 100 yards away.
Really?
And he was going to be part of the plan. They're all going to meet down there and figure out who was stealing from the property room. And it wasn't only a gun. Now they're figuring some other screwy things going on.
Right.
Yeah. So it was 4th of July, 1995. And Mike Crow, my buddy, he beat him there by just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
He goes in, and as he goes in through the parking lot, he sees lights on in the building.
And they're not set up for this yet? They had it planned?
No, they were going down there to have a meeting to decide who's stealing. Because now they figured out it's more than the gun. There's some other things going on. So when Mike drives into the parking lot, he sees the lights on, and he catches a glimpse of somebody in the lieutenant's office, and he's got a set of bolt cutters in his hands. So as Mike parks his car and he leaves his gun on the front seat, he runs over to the open door, and he's met by the deputy. And the deputy has that set of bolt cutters in his hands. Mike said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Oh, I'm just finishing up reports." Well, now a couple of minutes have passed. Mike's not going to go in now. He's getting an eerie feeling. Lieutenant and the evidence custodian come in riding together. And they surely don't want the deputy around while they're trying to figure out who's stealing.
Right. At this time, did they think, or do you think they thought it was him?
No, not at that point.
With bolt cutters in his hand?
Yeah, Mike's got a feeling.
Sure.
When he shows up. That's why he's kind of waiting for the rest of the other two guys to show up. So they all walk in together, and the deputy's following them in, and somebody clicks on the light to the lieutenant's office now, and they can see it's been ransacked.
Oh, wow.
It's now like all their minds were wired together, and they're saying, this is the problem.
Wow.
So the evidence custodian, Jim Earhart, said, who's got a gun? Mike had left his on the front seat of his car. The lieutenant just thought he was coming down for a meeting. He's in a confined area with razor wire on the fencing all around it.
Yeah, why would you need a gun?
Jim Earhart was a civilian employee now. He didn't bring a gun, so it was the perfect storm. So just when they do that, the deputy disappears, and he comes back with a Tech 9 machine gun.
Oh, wow.
And they're telling him to put the gun away. Now he points it at Mike, and he pulls the trigger and hits Mike in the shoulder, and blood starts spraying. And they're yelling at him, put the gun down, you don't need the gun. And now he points it at Jimmy Earhart. He's about 9 feet away, and he's got this machine gun pointed at Jim. And Jim's starting to scream at him, put it away, you don't need it. He pulls the trigger, it goes click, nothing happens.
Oh, wow.
So he drops the magazine, he cocks it again, reinserts it, cocks it again, points it at Jim, went click again, twice. Nothing happened. So the deputy walks out the office. Jim said, I could hear the magazine hit the concrete. So he said that was his chance to get away. So he runs out another door. There's two doors. One used by customs. He ran after that and he ran out of there, and he couldn't get his key in the gate. Things were happening so fast. So he could hear some commotion outside. So he ran and hid behind a dumpster. As Mike, my buddy, is running around the building, and he's yelling, please don't shoot me again.
And that's the title of your book?
That's the title of the book.
Oh, wow.
And so Mike gets shot 6 times.
Oh, wow.
Gets shot 5 times. It just bang, 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 bang. Mike goes down. He can't run anymore, and the deputy walks up to him, puts the gun up to his head, pulls the trigger.
Oh, wow.
Times. Mike still wasn't dead.
Really?
Yeah. And then he walks back in, and Lieutenant's making a 911 call. And he goes in, sees the lieutenant, and the fight is on. He shoots the lieutenant 5 times.
Oh, wow.
Kills him. But his plan was, after he killed everybody, he was going to take down both buildings. He was going to take down the squad bag area for what he could steal. Then he was going to go across the street where Larry Wheeler was sitting waiting for him, where the evidence room was.
Sure.
And he was going to take that down. His whole idea, he wanted to do this big case. And the reason he was going to take all that was so he could deal him to the motorcycle gang. And then he was going to be top cop.
So he'd be a hero.
Everybody will know him. Yeah. He was
so he killed,
it all down by himself.
How many people, were all 3 dead? All 3 killed?
No. Earhart, the evidence custodian, got away.
Okay.
He ran across the street and got a hold of Larry Wheeler.
Yeah.
Said, call 911. That's the second 911 tape.
Sure.
Got both tapes. And then Larry calls 911, and Yuma PD showed up, and he ends up getting arrested.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible. I interviewed the deputy 8 times in prison.
Did you? How was it hard to look at him?
Yeah. First, in fact, I was, we interview a lot, and this one became personal.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a regular interview. And so I was a little unsettled.
Yeah. I can imagine.
What was weird is I didn't want him to know I was coming, because if he had the opportunity to know I was coming, he may have canceled out on me.
Sure.
So I'm going to just use a tactic. I'll hit him up cold. So I had some buddies that worked the security threat groups over at DOC, Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
And they set it up where I have an interview with him. We're the only ones. It's nobody else is there. We're in the visitation room. Well, I'm there trying to get my thoughts organized, and I have them written down so I don't forget anything. And I'm kind of staring off at 85 running between Buckeye and Gila Bend, and just sort of daydreaming. And all of a sudden I hear a click behind me, and I know what it is. It's the door opening.
The door opening?
And a prison guard is bringing him in a wheelchair, which caught me off guard. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I walked up to him, and I handed him his business card he gave me 3.5 months before he killed him.
Oh, wow.
Because I was teaching at a gang conference in Palm Springs. And after I got done teaching, he came up to me, handed me his business card, and he chirped a little bit. I don't remember what he said. Sure. So that was my icebreaker. Now it's 16 years later, when I'm meeting him in prison, I hand him back that business card. I said, Jack, you know who I am? He said, Mr. Trethewy, I remember a class you taught me 16 years ago.
Wow.
And it broke the ice. And I said, can you talk? He said, yeah, we'll talk.
Oh, now, why was he in a wheelchair?
He had cancer.
Okay.
And it lasted, my first interview was in 2011. And my last one was 2017. I thought the last one was 2014. I got that one videotaped.
Huh.
And I thought that was it, because we were going over the same stuff. I wanted to catch him in a lie. I wanted him to tell me what he knew what he did. He's claiming he didn't know because of the meth.
Because of the drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to hear it from him. I wanted to hear it from him because in his defense in court, he didn't remember because he was in a methamphetamine-induced psychosis.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it seems like my impression, and I just want to know if I'm correct, is even 16 years later, when you hand him your business card, he still thinks he's smarter than you. He still thinks he's smarter than anybody else in the room. Is that the kind of guy he was, or am I not? Because to just say that so flippant, that, yeah, I remember I was in your class 16 years ago.
Yeah, actually, he was in 2 classes of mine.
Was he?
But yeah, I went back and looked at some old stuff.
Huh. Did he always think he was smart, or
was because he was smart.
He was smart, but I know drugs will make you dumber and you'll lose, but it seems like he still has this arrogance of intellectual superiority.
Well, he made excuses. There was always an excuse for everything.
Sure.
And he said he didn't know he killed him, but he said, but I accept it because the evidence was overwhelming.
Right.
So he always claimed that. His defense in court was because he was in a methamphetamine-induced psychosis, he didn't know. But I think he did know.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hear it. And I wanted to tell Mike's wife. He knew it. And so my last interview, I thought, was 2014. I got a call from the prison. A guy I knew worked the prison gangs over there. And he goes, he's in the hospital. He's not expected to live. I said, okay, if he comes back into the prison system alive, I said, I want one more shot on this.
Sure.
So it was 2017.
And your motivation is to get him to admit that he knows.
I want him to admit it. Okay. I wanted to hear it.
Gotcha.
Initially I did this as a workplace violence case study presentation.
Okay.
And then I couldn't get it out of my system.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to write the story. And so that 2017, I get referred over to the infirmary. We go over to an infirmary in the Department of Corrections. And walking through the nurse station, and she says he's out back, and there's another fenced-in area. And so I walk over, and there's a guy in a wheelchair talking to a prison guard through the chain link fence.
Yeah.
I look down, I'm thinking, that's not him. It's not him. He looks up and he goes, well, look who's here. I said, can you talk? He goes, yeah, well, we can talk. And so there was the guard let me in, and there's a cemented bench in there. And he wheels over the cemented bench, and I sit on the edge of it, and I tuck my knee between his, and I'm kind of invading his space a little bit.
Sure, little tactic.
Yeah. And so I said, so we go through this again, and I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I said, Jack, I want you to tell me. And he goes, I don't remember. And I said, okay, I'm going to step through the 7 deadly minutes between 10:52 and 10:59. And so I started breaking it down. I said, do you remember pointing a gun at Jimmy Earhart and it going click? Because I remember. I said, what was it? Something else. Oh, I said, do you remember the sound of the gun going off?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I remember that. So he was kind of remembering little bits and pieces. Now, whether that was some mitigation on his side, thinking, I'm telling him, but I'm not telling him.
Right.
So when it was over, it was just kind of an eerie, excuse me, an eerie feeling. I'm walking.
There you go. Sorry.
Walking out through the nurse's station. She's already filling out the death paperwork.
Yeah.
And as I walk by his cell, I'm just thinking how cold. He's going to lay there on the cement bed, staring at the cold cement ceiling.
Yeah.
Wondering what's going through his mind in the last minutes of his life. And I got a call. It was actually almost 3 weeks later. It said he died. So I immediately got on the phone, called my buddy's wife and her new husband, who was a task force member. And that's kind of the silver lining in this book. When Mike got shot and went to the hospital, a lieutenant from DPS, who was one of my classmates in the academy, a guy named Dave McDowell, Dave picks up a guy named Billy Turner, who was a task force member. And he said, we're going to go pick up Stephanie. Mike's been shot. And we're going to run her to the hospital. So Dave takes her to the hospital, leaves Billy Turner, a task force member, at the house, take care of the kids, the 2 daughters. So long story short, he kind of looks after the family, takes care of them for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 2 years later, she gets set up on a blind date, and it's Billy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they end up getting married.
Hey, I'm glad we end with some positivity on this story. That must have been a tough few years for you, just going through this and dealing with it, because we're talking about a story. These were your friends.
Yeah, and that's why I said it became personal. I want to do it. It's kind of a bucket list thing, like I said, and it was I want to do it for Mike's wife, because I didn't want the legacy. We go to a lot of funerals in law enforcement.
Yes.
And after a few years, you kind of forget about them.
Yeah.
I didn't want this one to be forgotten. So writing the story kind of keep it going.
So how do people find your book?
It's on Amazon. You can also order it through Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
Amazon seems to be the big one.
Please don't shoot me again.
Yeah, and it's that was Mike's words as he's being shot. I use that as the title of the book.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, we have to end on, even though there is a silver lining somewhat, but this is Meet Your Neighbor. You laid down a pretty heavy story there, and I appreciate it, because hey, it's not all. I want to hear these stories, especially you live in our neighborhood. But so you grew up in Phoenix.
Yeah,
we're going to transition a little bit.
Yeah.
And you ended up in Westbrook. A lot of people from Minnesota, all over the country, end up in Westbrook in that retirement. So how'd you end up in Westbrook?
Well, it's funny. We have a daughter who's special needs. She's autistic.
Okay.
And our house had stairs. It was a bigger home, and she was getting kind of freaked out by the stairs. And so it was becoming an ordeal to get her up and down the stairs. And it's like, you know what? It's time to move. Besides that, I was getting tired of the maintenance.
Yeah.
So,
no kidding.
So, we lived up off of 67th way north. And up against the mountain. So we were looking around. My wife had seen Westbrook before, and I really never paid much attention because I never really cared about moving anywhere. And so we went and looked, and it's like the house we looked at, we're going to, it's like, and it's like somebody bought it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like next house we looked at, somebody bought it. And it's like, oh my gosh. So we ended up moving into where there was like a gated section. We went over there, and it's like, well, we weren't looking for something gated, but we're looking for a home, and every time we look at one, somebody's snapping them up.
Right.
So I'm looking, and I'm going, oh my gosh, there's just too much needs to be done. But it's like my wife said, if you want it, we got to move. And it's like, okay, we want it.
Yeah.
So we want it bad.
Right.
So we moved in, and it was so funny. It was that first week I'm out in the front, and I'm kind of picking up rocks that don't fit with the other rocks,
sure.
Cleaning it up. And I'll tell you, that first day, it's like 3 of the neighbors came over and introduced themselves, and I'm thinking, you know what? I didn't know that many in my other neighborhood, and I was there for 20 years.
Yeah.
So everybody was so friendly.
Yep.
And I like the fact that it had a gym. I'm a gym rat.
Okay.
I'm a little skinny guy, but I love lifting.
Yeah.
So I'm always in the gym, and started playing pickleball. I love pickleball.
That's
my
awesome.
wife's a tennis nut, so she plays
really?
tennis. Yeah.
Nice.
So, it was a good fit.
Yeah, it's a great community, and you're spot on with the 3 neighbors coming over, because it's the neighbors are what make this place great. I mean, I went out and visited Sun City Grand, and they have great facilities. They have a huge gym, by the way, and but boy, the people and the location of Westbrook is it's so nice and green when you walk in. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you doing the podcast.
Sure.
We're good?
It was interesting. I've never done this before.
Yeah,
so
I loved hearing your story. I mean, it wasn't the happiest story, but I could see it meant a lot to you, and I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
You got it.
Thanks.
Thank you. You got it.
Thanks again for tuning into the Meet Your Neighbor podcast. Real estate is how I'm able to support this show and give back to our community. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling a home in Arizona, I'd love to help. I also offer a free real estate review, basically a health checkup for your home's value and market position. You can call or text me anytime at 651-295-6830. Again, that's 651-295-6830. I'd be honored to help you or your neighbors with the next chapter of your real estate journey. And thanks again for listening, and be sure to keep connecting.